All right. Back with another one. So this tutorial is going to be how to create a Google Forms quiz, right? And how to put it into Classroom, how to read the results, right? And also the most important part of this is where you need to make the Google form, okay? And the way I'm going to show you is the best way I feel for organization and the ease of access to get the actual results, okay? So a lot of you might, when you upload or when you make a forms quiz, you might go to your Google Classroom and you might go to classwork, create, right? And you might do quiz assignment, which is cool. There's no problem with that. So then the quiz that you make, right, you'd have to click on it and then you have to make the quiz. Now, the thing is this, where does that quiz live? How do you go back and get the results, right? So this will always live in your auto-generated classroom folder. But as you notice, you have a million classrooms and you have to do a lot of clicking, find the thing, and then find the actual quiz, right? So then you have to actually go in and see where it is. And then it's not in its own separate folder. It's not, the socks are in the shirt drawer, right? You want to keep the socks within the sock drawer. Okay, that's what I always say. All right. So here's what I would do. Okay, get rid of this assignment. The first thing you need to do when you make your Google Forms quiz, right, is decide what folder you want it to live in, right? This is where you're going to make it from. This could be a folder that you already have as one of your classes, right? Obviously, I don't have any classes, so there you go. Like it could be your period 1, 2, 3, 4. You could already make it in that, or you could create a separate folder labeled Google Forms. All right. So I'm going to show you that way. And it's the same process as if this was at your actual classroom or classroom folder, right? The folder that you made for each one of your periods, right? So I'm going to click on here. Now, whether this is another folder or a separate folder like I have for Google Forms, always make a folder that you're going to keep all your Google Forms in, right? You want to keep the socks within the sock drawer. Don't want to have it sporadically laying out on the floor everywhere, okay? So within my Google Forms folder, I have a period 1 folder, right? And you obviously could have period 2, 3, 4, 5, so be it. So once you have your folder, right, you're going to open up that folder. This is where you're going to make the form. And this is the folder in which you're going to upload from to Google Classroom. I'll show you that in a second, okay? So now that you got your folder, you got your folder named, now you're going to put the sock in the sock drawer, right? So now you hit New, Google Forms, okay? So this is the form that is going to live right here. So now you just make your Google form, right? Now, if you want to make this a quiz, you go up here to the settings, and then you go to, first thing I would do is collect email addresses. I'm going to show you that why in a second. Then I would hit limit to 1 response. That way they can't take it twice, okay? Those are your 2 settings there. Next, I would go to quizzes, and you slide this over right here, make this a quiz, okay? Slide it over and make it a quiz. Now, you could actually release the grade immediately or after manual review. I would do it later, only because, as you'll see, Google can self-grade, but not on if it's a short answer, only on multiple choices. So if you have a mixture of multiple choices and short answers, right, it's going to give a grade, but it's not going to give a full grade because you're going to have to manually grade the actual short answers, which I'm going to show you how to do, okay? So now, that's how you make the actual quiz, okay? Make the form a quiz. Then you hit save. Okay, perfect. So now let's title this. Let's just title it test quiz. All right. And down here, let's just add a question. First question you always should ask is what their name is. Last name. Right? And as you notice, for every question that you ask, you get over here the way in which the student answers it, whether it's short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, and so on. You pick how you want to have it answered. For this one, I just want a short answer, okay? Now to add a question, you just hit add, right? And let's put first name. There's a reason I'm doing this. I'll show you why in a minute. Keep it at short answer, okay? So now we got our last name and first name as the first 2 questions, okay? And this is, I'm going to show you how to just create simple questions. There are more advanced ways to add questions as pictures. Say you want to copy and snip a picture from a PDF form. That's like a Regents quiz, right? Or from somewhere else. That's a PDF format. And you take a snippet of it. You could add that picture as the question. But I'm just going to show you how to do this on just a basic we're typing in the questions type of quiz. All right. So now you got your last name, first name. Let's add the first question. I'm only going to add 2 questions here for sake of time. First question is, what is 1 plus 1? Now, you could have multiple choice, right? And then have options down here. If you want Google Forms to self-grade, you have to have multiple choice. Or you can have short answer, but the student will have to put the exact answer that you delineate as the correct answer. I'll show you why. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But just for this, multiple choice, right? So we have multiple choice. If you want to add an option, you just click in here, a question, an answer, possible answer. 1, then you go down, 2, 3, 4, right? As many as you want. Once you are done with adding in the questions, answers that they could possibly have, right? Down here, you have to hit the answer key. This is where you will tell Google what the correct answer is. So you hit the answer key. Now, here's where you choose how many points it's worth. I'm just going to make it worth 2 points. And right here, I'm going to put in the correct answer. Obviously, 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. So now I gave it points. I added here, right? I added the correct answer. Another cool feature is if you hit add answer feedback, right? You can put in customized feedback based on if the kids get an incorrect answer or a correct answer. All right. So if it was an incorrect answer, you could tell them why. If it was a correct answer, you could say good job, things like that. Okay. You don't have to do that. You can. You could also add a YouTube video or a link to explain the answer. Okay. But you don't have to do that, right? Most basic thing you need to do is have the points, and you have to have the correct answer clicked. Once you're done with that, you hit done. Okay. Now I will click this as required. There you go. Let's add another question. Hit the plus sign. Now I'm going to add a short answer question, right? Simple. Ready? What month are we in? All right. Now I want to make this a short answer, right? So my suggestion is, if you're going to have Google self-grade a short answer, make it a 1-word answer. Otherwise, you're going to have to put in all the correct answers, as in every single word has to be correct. Right? You don't want to do that. So only do this, only have a short answer auto-graded if you want it to be 1-word answer. All right. So what month are we in? Answer key. Right? You could add a correct answer. You could add more than one correct answer. So let's just say January, right? You might also want to put January in lowercase, right? Can't spell, right? So these are the 2 possible ways a kid can get a correct answer, right? And as you notice, this is kind of tricky, right? So like, what if they get the answer right, but they kind of misspell one letter? You're going to have to actually put all the possible answers they could write in, which is time consuming. So if you want Google to auto-generate the grade for the whole quiz, make everything multiple choice. If you want to have a mixture, right, you could do that as well, but know that the whole thing won't be auto-graded, and you're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to actually grade it yourself via the short answer or paragraph responses, okay, which is not too bad. It's just extra stuff you have to do, okay? Now, hit this, and then I'm going to assign this 2 points. Done. Okay. Now, the third type of answer is I'm going to show you how you could add a question that requires you to self-grade it, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm giving you all the possible ways you could add a question, right? But I'm telling you that if you want the whole thing self-graded, I would just stick to a multiple choice. Okay. So this one is obviously an example of a mixture. So let's add a question. All right. Let's do describe your day, right? So now over here, I'm going to keep it as a paragraph. Now, the answer key, right? All you have to do is add the points, right? Because you're going to self-grade that yourself. Then you would hit done, okay, and hit required. Forgot to do that on this one too. No, I didn't. All right, here we go. Did I do it? Yeah. All right. So, all right. Now, okay. Now you have all your possible answers, okay, and all your questions. So here's what we're going to do. We are done with this quiz. We're just simply going to X out, okay? And like I just told you, the Google form, which I call the sock, is in the correct drawer of period 1, right? So now you know where to get it. So now it's time to actually upload the quiz to Google Classroom. Here we go. You go to Google Classroom. You create an assignment, right? You title it whatever you want, in this case, test quiz, right? Now you're going to add from Google Drive. And this is why we made it in a certain folder, right? So we know exactly where to go get it. My Drive, what folder is it in? It's in my Google Forms folder right here. What period? Period 1. There she is. So you just simply left click on that twice and there it goes, okay? This is the quiz. Now, very important. You do not, I highly, well, I'm just going to say, don't add this quiz as an assignment to all of your classrooms. Why? Because if you do that, Google Classroom does not know that, well, Google Forms does not know it's in a separate classroom. So all of your responses from all of your classes will be on one form. That's a no-go. You don't want to do that. It's going to be millions of answers, like 150 answers on one form. You want to keep it separate for every single class, okay? That's why I made a folder called period 1, right? I'm going to show you how to put the same form in another period, right? So you want to keep it to just one class, okay? And then you can put it, topic, whatever you want, okay? Name it whatever topic you want. You should know how to do it by now. Due date, whatever, category points, blah, 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 right? So now you just hit assign, okay? Hit assign, right? So now your kids know where to go to take the quiz. What I'm going to show you now is this, how to create this same quiz and put it in a different sock drawer so that you don't get all the responses on one. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new folder. I'm going to label it period 2. Okay. So all I'm going to do now is go back to my first quiz, right click, make a copy. Okay. And now I have the same quiz, but it's different, right? So let's label this one period 1. Period 1 test quiz. Okay. Let's label this one right here period 2 test quiz. Okay. So now all we have to do, right, is right click on this, right? And we're going to move it where? To period 2. Right? And then hit move here. So now, right, I have period 1 quiz and I have period 2 quiz. So let's say I went into my Google Classroom and I went into another classroom, right? I would put this period 2 into this one. That way they're separated, okay? Always do that. My advice. All right, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually take the quiz, okay? I'm going to take the quiz and show you what it looks like on the end of your end once the kid takes it, okay? So just going to take the quiz real quick, all right? Notice that you could always hit the I, and this is what the student view will look like, right? So this is what the student sees. You could also actually take it. So I'm going to answer this, right? Decker. Right now I'm pretending I'm the kid. This is what the kid sees. I want to put 2. What month are we in? We are in January. Describe your day. Okay. It is going well. Okay. Now I hit submit. I'm just a teacher. I'm just a student that actually just took the quiz. Okay. Now, let's say it's later on in the day. The quiz is over. You want to go grade it. Where do you go to see the results? I feel that the easiest way where to go is to go back to that sock drawer. Okay. So where's the sock drawer? Right? Google Forms. Right? What you're doing is you're training your brain and muscle memory to know where you store things and where to get them, right? So I go to my Google Forms sock drawer, and within that sock drawer, I got period 1, and I just click on the quiz itself, right? Now, if you'll notice, I see responses. Somebody else take this? That's funny. Somebody else took it. Somebody else took it when I put it to the classroom. I should have put this in my test folder classroom. That's funny, but that's actually good because it shows you the responses, right? So you hit responses. Now there's a way that you could look at it, and there's a way that I think is better. You could simply just hit responses and see the whole class, right? Via the summary. You see the point distribution, frequently missed questions. This is just all data, right? And pie graphs and charts of all the answers, right? This is just a summary of all the answers. You can see the results question by question, right? You can see the results by each individual. You would just click on here and pick the kid. But the best way, I think, is to hit this little green symbol, right? This creates a spreadsheet with all the kids' names and answers. Look at this. It's beautiful, right? It even gives a timestamp. Timestamp is when they took it. So you know that they took it at the correct time, right? This is good for attendance, right? You have till 11:59 p.m. So there you go. You know if they did it by 11:59 p.m., right? So what it does is it gives you their email address, their score, their last name, and first name. Now, the reason I have you put their last name and first name, right, is so that if this doesn't match up with this, you know somebody cheated, okay? And it also gives you the answers, right? And it gives you their answers, actually, okay? And it gives you their score. John Newhall got his 0. Oh, man, that is funny. All right, so this is how you read the results. And check this out, ready? This another person did it. It's funny. So why did I have you make it in the sock drawer? I'm going to keep going back to that sock drawer because check this out. Those responses in the Google spreadsheet are always going to be adjacent to the original quiz. Check it out. Google Forms, period 1. You have the actual test, and you have the actual answers via the spreadsheet. Amazing, right? And that's how you read their responses, okay? It's very simple, right? And here's the assignment. You can view the assignment, see how many people turned it in, right? So that's the best way I feel to make a Google quiz, you know? Like, I mean, you could do it any way you want, but this is how, I would do it. If you have any other questions, please just email me or Melissa. And let me see if I remember anything. Let's see, what else? Did I miss anything? No. But if you want more advanced Google Form stuff, just email me. So what I'll do is I'll show you one more thing, okay? So you got the responses, right? Remember how I showed you that it doesn't auto grade, right? It doesn't auto grade certain things, right? Look, I got that wrong because I put the A. What you could do is this. If you have like a paragraph or short answer, in the responses tab, you go to the individual section, right? You hit individual, and you have to go person by person, right? And you have to go down here, right? It's going to mark it wrong at first because you didn't assign it any answer. But you're going to read it, and you're going to decide right here how many points to give it, right? So I'll give that one 5, right? And then I hit save, okay? Right? And then that's how you would self-grade any paragraph. Now, once you're done with everything, right, you're going to go to each person's quiz, right, and you're going to self-grade each paragraph response, right, and then hit save. Right, once you're done with everything, what you're going to do is you're just going to hit release score, okay, and then you're going to hit this for all respondents and say you could do send emails and release. Okay, I'm not going to do it because it's not a real quiz. All right, so that's how you grade the paragraph responses, okay? Again, if you want the whole thing to be auto-graded, then you stick to multiple choice. If you want a mixture, then know that you're going to have to go in and assign a grade to each of those questions that don't have an auto-generated response, okay? All right, have a great day.